Welcome. We are back. A very crazy day in the market. We gapped down, we went up quite a bit, then we sold off quite a bit. Now futures are up. Very, very volatile day. Literally like down, up, and then in between we had Meta earnings. It's down like a lot after hours. I think it was down around 20%. And this is after Snapchat got crushed on earnings. Google got crushed yesterday. Microsoft got crushed yesterday. Tomorrow we have Amazon and Apple, as well as GDP numbers. So we're kind of in the peak earnings seasons right now. And tech is heavily underperforming, it seems. However, not too much damage. We're literally up after hours, while on futures we're up despite the sell-off with Meta. So not a great start to the week, but even apart from tech stocks, like the ARKK ETF was green today. The Russell 2000 for small caps was green today. We had a very green morning for a lot of small cap stocks as well. CLOV was up like 6% at one point. AMC was up nicely. Tesla was up. Like there is still green in the market despite these certain tech large cap stocks selling off. So I feel like the market's dealt with it as good as possible so far. We still have two big ones tomorrow to keep an eye out for. Even like we're looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, both of them had really nice days. The new swing trades are up pretty nicely. They're still breaking out. They're not really too affected by what's going on. So it's not much of an issue for right now, which is pretty relieving. And that's really what's taking place. So let's get started with crypto. Make sure to like button if you just joined in the stream. Bitcoin up nicely again today. The swing trade is up about 4% since I alerted it like 2 days ago or 1 day ago, something like that, very recently. I think it was literally yesterday actually. Already up 4% and was up higher today. This is your highest daily candle close since September 12th. You've broken above all of this resistance. We talked about this literally last night. You broke above it. So big breakout today for Bitcoin. There's a few resistances. If you really zoom in here, you got this, you have this, you have these. But in terms of like a major level, there's not much until the first target of the trade, which is around 22.5K. So very nice day for Bitcoin, even higher volume than yesterday. So far, so good. Really no complaints as of right now. Ethereum as well, very strong day. It's currently up about 7% since I alerted this yesterday. It broke out the day before. Volume even higher than yesterday. You're seeing a lot of continuation and strength coming into crypto right now after these breakouts. And these are like this is like your second major low you've had since June for the crypto market, and you're really reversing off of it. So it's a very good start. Hopefully it keeps going like that. Let's look at the US 10-year, which is now testing the demand line on steroids. It's held it every single time it's tested it for 3 months pretty much now, I think. Yeah, about 3 months almost. So you've been holding it, you're testing it again, and we did talk about those bearish candles, the shooting star and this bearish engulfing, and that's kind of playing out. You're retesting this demand line, so we will see if this is finally the breakdown for the US 10-year after it had a very nice move on the monthly breakout a couple months back. So pulling back a little bit, moving on to crude oil. Green day, we talked about this back test yesterday. You're getting a move off of it now. This is kind of like an inverse head and shoulders over here. We look at it like this. It's kind of like this inverse head and shoulders setup taking place after breaking out of the wedge and back testing it. Not bad at all from a technical standpoint. Moving on to metals, gold is getting closer and closer to this breakout. So there definitely is a lot of changes taking place, not just in the stock market, but across the board in a bunch of different markets. We're seeing this technical shift over the past week or so, which I think is favorable for equities overall. And then we're gonna look at the dollar too, the 10-year selling off. Like, these are the things we want for this market. And like, we've seen bear market rallies, but the dollar just kept running, the 10-year just kept running. Now we're actually seeing if we're still calling it a bear market, we're still seeing a rally, but now the dollar currency index pulling back, the 10-year pulling back. So this is different than pretty much every other time this year. But silver as well, pulling up a little bit after bouncing off this demand line. And then I was just talking about the dollar currency index. We talked about this breakdown last night on stream. You are now getting the fall through price action after the breakdown. You're getting close to a support level. We talked about this level last night. So you are approaching some support. You no longer can have hidden bullish diversions because you just made a lower low. So another trend shift occurring over there. And then finally the Hang Seng Index, bullish engulfing candle after the doji candle yesterday. So not bad. Again, like this, it looks like it's breaking down from this really long-term trend line, as you can see over here, that you've held for about 24 years. But you might be able to get a dead cat bounce just because of how oversold it is short term. So that's just a quick recap on your other markets. Let's move over to stocks now. The S&P 500 did probably print the first bearish candle in a while. You did lose a lot of gains today. I don't think it's a textbook shooting star because you kind of went halfway back down. There might be a name for this candle. I can't think of it right now. But you are seeing, again, like I did say last night on the stream, I am flipping back towards the bullish standpoint going into the end of the year. But I did say last night on the stream, very short term, we were a little bit overbought. We talked about the potential for 4-hour classic bearish divergence, which is now developing. I also talked about a 1-hour channel. You broke down from that. I also talked about 1-hour classic bearish divergence being overbought. We did have a lot of different technical indicators kind of anticipating a short-term pullback. But if you watched last night's stream, I still said I'm not too worried about the pullback. And now you can see futures going back up again. Tomorrow is going to be a big day with Amazon and Apple and GDP. So there's no way I can predict that. And that's probably going to affect the charts in some way. But for right now, you're holding the important levels. I think it's a very normal pullback. Nothing really about this I think should surprise anybody. You got pretty close to this 390 resistance, so you didn't perfectly get to it. And now you're pulling back a little bit. So let's go to even lower time frames. You can see this demand line break. If we do continue to sell off, this is like if we go to even shorter time frames, it's kind of like a little bit of a, I saw Keanu Trades talk about this today, a little bit of a head and shoulders developing here. If we do break under like 381.3 tomorrow, that would be a breakdown from this pattern that developed throughout the day, but you never really broke down. However, futures are up, so we'll see, and you did cross this supply line, so kind of some mixed variables there. That's really it for the SPY. Going over to the Qs, they pretty much gave back all of yesterday's gains after not only Microsoft but also Google failed to do well on the earnings report yesterday, and then of course we had Meta after hours today. So pulling back a little bit, again, I'm not too worried about it. Maybe you just back test and then hopefully go higher. But right now we're in pullback mode. Futures are a little bit different. I don't see this pullback taking us to like a new low of this bear market. I just don't see it. So I do think we pivot at some point. It's really hard for me to identify exactly where for right now. But hopefully sooner rather than later. So that's really it for the Qs. Nothing too much has changed. I do like that it's still holding 276.5. You can see that was a gap that got filled, but back all the way from like November of 2020. It flipped into support here. And if we really look into this chart, it was even resistance on this 4-hour candle. So that is a short-term level just beneath you. And another thing I talked about last night on stream was the VIX. I talked about how it was breaking down, especially on the 1 hour. It broke down from this ascending broadening wedge, and I said if the VIX breaks under like 28 today, that could set up some more upside for the market. So you did see a good morning, or at least a part of the morning that was pretty good. Everything was pretty much green. And then we pulled back later in the day, but the VIX also continued to pull back. So you really did see an afternoon session pulling back. You had this one bounce, and then that was given up too. So that's really it. I mean, in terms of the next level, let's go over to the 4-hour. I feel like I charted something. Yeah, this 15-minute downsloping channel. I'm gonna look for a level I charted. Oh, it's right here. 25.36 is kind of like that next support, maybe even a little bit higher, around 25.5. So that's your next support for the VIX. So that was the red today. However, we did see green in the market, and it was a lot greener in the morning, but the Russell 2000 leading today. Small caps doing their thing. Fortunately, with the pullback, they'd still closed green, but with the pullback, you did print a shooting star bearish candle. So not optimal. It's there. It's probably the only bearish variable I see right now. But let's see how much of a move it made. Yeah, you got up to about a 50% retrace. This is a very textbook move for a dragon pattern. I'm like losing my voice right now, for a dragon pattern to make. So it went halfway back up after the sell-off. Now it's pulling back a bit right off that Fibonacci level. A little bit of classic bearish divergence on the 4-hour, bearish engulfing candle. So you are getting those shorter term bearish signals, but you do have a lot of support beneath you. So hopefully you just bounce off one of them and continue to lead, because large caps have not been able to do that in some time. So maybe small caps can. And then even the ARK ETF, I think it was up like 4% at one point today. We talked about this breakout yesterday after this major double bottom. You're still broken out. Nothing too crazy. Volumes remain the same for a very long time. This, in hindsight, this was a very nice sign of capitulation. You could see this first major low that you put in at this support zone was lined up with pretty much your highest volume since the beginning of the year. So you've continued to hold average volume since then. Not bad. And that's really it. Not really a confusing day. There's just a lot that happened. In terms of swings, let's take a look at Tesla. It was up 1% today. It tried to break out of this little resistance. I talked about this last night, but with the market pulling back in the afternoon, it also pulled back a bit. So you're still just testing a breakout of this right angle descending broadening wedge. On the daily, nothing much has changed. You still have that green MACD, positive momentum. Nice 4-hour bullish engulfing candle to start off the day. It's just, can you clear this like upper 220 resistance zone before breaking under 200? So hopefully it can. There was, you know, some stuff going on with Twitter and everything today. If you looked at social media, we could probably look at Twitter a little bit later, but continuing with the swings, these three swings, the next three swings, AMC, CLOV, and FISCI, they were all green in the morning, but they did go green to red, unfortunately, with the market pulling back intraday. At the high of the day, the AMC swing wasn't even that far from the first target. It was actually up about 18%. So I alerted this a couple weeks back. It was up like 18-19% since the alert at the high of the day today, and then it pulled back. So this would probably be the bearish perspective for right now. Kind of a little bit of like a bear flag over here. So it's a little bit concerning. Hopefully you can just not have this destroy the whole entire setup, and then you can get back above $7. That would be very, very big. It's a very key level. So I'm just hoping that this low from over here holds, so that the swing doesn't get stopped. And even if the bear flag does play out, you pull back a bit. Worst case scenario for this one is a break even, because it was already up 18%. If anything's up 10% or more and it falls back to the entry, I mark it a break even on the sheet. So hopefully you can just make some low above that, above $6, above that point, and then keep going. CLOV had a nice morning, but again, it looks very similar to the Russell 2000. I'm sure a lot of small caps look the same. Started off the day well, pulled back later. But again, not much of a technical change. It's not the prettiest looking candle on the daily, but you didn't even give back yesterday's gains. You're still out of the wedge. Really, just apart from this not being a good looking candle, nothing has changed since yesterday. It was only down 2% today. And it's closed pretty much right at the price I alerted this new close swing at. So nothing has changed apart from that. I'd say on the 1 hour, an important support's just 150. You did hold that multiple times earlier before breaking under it. So you probably just want to continue to hold above that short term. And then Fisker tried to get back above 8 today. Was above it for a little bit, but closed slightly under. So hopefully it can get back above that. That's this whole entire previous support zone over here. So it's just, can you at some point break above that before making a new all-time low? That's really what I'm hoping for here on Fisker. And yeah, that's really it for the swings. We did have Meta report after hours today. Let's go over to the 4 hour. And this is why I was saying yesterday on the stream, yeah, the chart looks nice, but that really means nothing when you have earnings the next day. And it really did not mean anything. If we look at extended hours, I think this is your lowest price, 104. Let's see the last time Meta was at 104. It's your lowest price since about 2016. So in 6 years, Meta has not been this low. It broke under the COVID crash earlier, a few weeks ago. It even broke under this low slightly on October 13th. And now you are at your lowest point since like all the way back over here. Let's go over to the weekly and take a look at this. I was even thinking about putting out a Meta swing earlier in the week, but I didn't just because of the earnings. Wanted to wait till after. Thankfully I did. And yeah, this is what a lot of you might remember as Facebook. Why is there? Oh, that's pretty cool that they do that. But yeah, let's make this trend line over here. On the weekly chart, you can see quite some time ago. This really doesn't mean much at this point because you've already sold off quite a bit since. But you did have this demand line. And you broke it. And then you even back tested it right over here. And now you're continuing the sell off. But if we delete all this, you are now down at 104, which is about right over here. So you're kind of back to where you were 6 years ago. That's really it. I didn't look at the earnings, so I'm not sure exactly what was in that. But pretty rough sell off. Google as well reported yesterday. Closed down 10% today. Closed slightly under this this support level that I drew out yesterday. It looks like from this. It looks like it's from this low. So you did close under that. I'd say the next one's around $91 or $90.50 from a couple of these lows and highs over here for Google. You could probably look at this as like a shorter term megaphone pattern developing though. It's kind of like the exact opposite of this over here. So Google, that's really all you got right now. Microsoft is also down 8% today. We talked about this bear flag looking thing for the last couple of days, and you could see the earnings kind of took it under. So you do have support around 227, quite a strong support hopefully, and that's just beneath you. Pretty good volume today, but you did close red. So yeah, and then GameStop, I was hoping for this today, never confirmed. I even did alert some GameStop calls in the morning. It was the first loss of the week. I pretty much alerted calls over here because you had the partial decline. There was even like a 5-minute breakout. There was hidden bullish divergence, and it just kind of gave up the level. But yeah, I probably marked them red like somewhere around over here. So thankfully I did because it sold off a lot more after that. And then I was able to find 2 other winners. I found Qs, but this one happened really quick. I alerted QQQ puts, I think like right over here, and it literally, they went up like 30% in 1 minute, which sounds fun, but it's way too quick, honestly. So there was that, and then after that I alerted some Tesla puts on this triangle breakdown over here, and then when it had this flash crash candle, those puts went up about 35% within a 5-minute candle. So that was pretty much like the recap really quickly from options and premium today. Just a reminder, premium is on sale until the end of the month, so you only have a few more days to take advantage of this sale. Only like my 3rd sale this year. This is the big one. I changed this actually. It was just 10% off your first purchase for both of them. Yesterday I changed it to 20% off forever if you want to sign up for annual. If you were to join monthly right now and stay under the monthly plan for a year, you'd be paying $583. However, if you sign up for annual right now, and you are obviously going to be in for a year, if you sign up for annual, you'll be paying $303 for the year. So that's a 48% discount if you sign up by the end of the month. That's up to you, completely up to you. It's the first link in the description and the pinned chat. There's a lot of stuff in premium if you're more interested in seeing what there is. Let me delete some of these chats. If you're interested in seeing what's there, first link in the description or the pinned chat, and then there's a lot of other links on the website. You can see member reviews, overview video. You can see all the results of options, I think over like a pretty long, I don't even remember how long, maybe 7 or 8 months or something. Literally every single option result. I haven't updated like the last week though, and some other stuff too. So let me remove these comments. All right, so that's pretty much it for what I had to bring up today. I feel like that was a very quick coverage today, only 22 minutes. So we could do some take requests. It might just be a very short stream today. If anybody has any takers that you want me to look over, drop them in the chat and I'll take a look at some for a few minutes. Jeff saying, remember to watch the dollar and yields. Yeah, we were just looking at those earlier. And yes, currencies do mean a lot. Max saying Fisker cup and handle on low time frames. I didn't see that. I haven't looked at Fisker low times in a long time. And I don't think we have a tier list for today. I don't know. I don't think the lump sent any, unless I missed it. Not too sure. All right, so yeah, I think there's going to be a quick recap stream for today. Nothing too crazy. Very quick updates on what's going on in the market right now. Honestly, I think Bitcoin and Ethereum are the best looking charts to me right now. It's not financial advice. That's just from the charts I see right now. These are the ones that are showing the most amount of variables to me. So we'll see if they outperform the others or not. It's always possible that they don't. And yeah, thank you for watching the stream. Hopefully this quick one gave you a little update on how things are going. Hit the like button, subscribe button, Discord links in the description, and I'll see you tomorrow.